of our 5-day free workshop. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I hope that you took yesterday's exercises and developed your empowering questions, started to use your empowering questions, looked at your new core question and implemented that in your life. If you've had stressful moments, these are the times that you want to use those questions when you are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, anything other than grounded and content. You want to be using those questions. Today, I want to talk to you about how to feel even happier than you do right now. Who wants to feel even happier, right? This is going to be an opportunity for you to learn how to shift your emotional state all the time. There is no need to be in a disempowered state for a long period of time. You have the choice to make changes every second of your day. So I like to introduce you to an opportunity, a tool to use so that you can shift your emotional state. We're going to talk about identifying and learning the energy frequency ladder. I want to first discuss with you the emotions that you live in is your point of attraction. So if you're living in anger or resentment or guilt or shame or frustration or anxiousness or stress or overwhelmed, that is your point of attraction, meaning that's what you keep continuously attracting into your life. And what I like you to do now is just to write down what are your top emotions that you live in every day. For myself, if I'm looking back years ago, I used to live in anger, frustration, and overwhelm, and stress. Those were my top emotions that I lived in. So that by living in those emotions, I attracted even more of those experiences into my life. So I attracted chaos, I attracted fights, I attracted relationships and friendships that were bringing me frustration and anger, overwhelmed, and stress. So right now, identify what are your top 3, your top 5 emotions that you're living in. I'll give you a second to do that. Write it down now in your workbook. Next, I want you to write down what are the emotions that you want to live in. See, I always knew that there was possibilities to live in other emotions. I didn't necessarily know how to get there, but I saw that people were happy. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be content in my body. I wanted to feel good in my skin. I wanted to feel peaceful and loved. And I think most of all, what I wanted more than anything was just to feel comfortable in my skin. So I guess comfortable was my number one back then. And here is what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn how you can master 3 areas of your life to begin to feel those, to begin to shift your emotional state. I will say this first, your emotions are triggered by your experiences. And if you choose not to express your emotions, they get stacked within you, right? They get stacked. So if you felt angry one day and you didn't express it, and then you got angry again and angry again and angry again and angry again and angry again, and you're not expressing that, then the littlest thing like a car not using its blinker can throw you off and you can be so angry, right? I remember, my kids would spill a glass of milk on the kitchen floor, a glass of water, not even milk, we didn't drink milk, a glass of water on the kitchen floor, and one of my friends would be like, how are you not angry over this? And I'm like, it's a glass of water. It's because I'm not full of anger anymore. Like I don't get angry that easily. So it's because when you identify your emotions, you have to learn to process them and release them, which is a whole nother topic. Today, we're going to just talk about how to shift your emotional state. Learning to process your emotions and release them takes some bit of time, and I do go through that through my course. So I can help you out there as well if you want to talk about my course, and I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But the 3 areas that you want to master to shift your emotional state is first, your body. You want to master changing your physiology when you are stressed. So if you're stressed and you're sitting down, stand up. If you're standing up, do a couple jumping jacks. If you're, one of the terms I use is HALT. Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Decide what your body needs in that moment. Maybe you just need to breathe like we did yesterday. Maybe you need to get up and go outside. Maybe you need to stretch your body. Maybe you need to exercise. Maybe you need a glass of water. Whenever you are feeling stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, or anything else that doesn't feel good, I want you to first master moving your body, shifting your body from whatever state it is. And if you're stressed, everything's tight and contracted. So maybe it's loosening up, opening things up, and allowing goodness into your life. So master your body and your physiology when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anything else. The next is focus. What are you focused on? Are you focusing on all the things that aren't working in your life or all the things that you want to have in your life? So developing the outlook of where you want to go, the vision of where you want to go and what you want to happen versus what's not happening is key. It reminds me of I was helping out at a seminar. This is going back when we could be in person, right? So it's going back almost a year now. And I was helping out at a seminar, and there was something technically not working. Like wires weren't working and something wasn't going to be able to happen. And, so instead of focusing on all the things that wasn't going to happen, we decided to focus on, okay, well, this is still working and this is still working and this is still working and we can get through this and we can do that. So learning to shift your focus is so important. Next is your communication. And that comes down to the way you're talking to yourself. Develop healthy affirmations for yourself. Develop healthy statements, empowering statements. You talked about the questions yesterday. That also is part of communication and a way to shift your focus if you learn to ask yourself empowering questions. But when it comes to communication, what is the story that you tell yourself every single day? Are you telling yourself that you're stressed and overwhelmed and you don't know how to get out of bed? Or are you telling yourself an empowering story where you're like, I got this, I can do this, I can make change, I can shift? So those are the three areas that you really want to focus on is focus. Now, first physiology, then focus, then communication. And as you do that, if you look at the next page where it has your emotional frequency ladder on it, those are examples of emotions, high frequency, high vibrational, where you attract more wonderful things in your life, or low vibrational, where you attract more low vibrational experiences in your life. And using your focus, your communication, and your physiology, you're able to go up the ladder. So if you're feeling worried, and it's not like you're going to go from fear to, which is number 22 on your list, if you're looking at it, up to joy in one step. It's learning to climb the ladder, one emotion at a time, one wrong at a time, and just continuously working on taking a step up the ladder, up the ladder, up the ladder through changing your focus, changing your communication, and changing your physiology. And this is something that I teach in depth in my course, Field of Freedom. And I like to introduce you to someone today who has learned how to take her emotions and shift them. She really has come so far. She's such a pleasure to be around. I absolutely love her. And I'd like to introduce you to Miss Joni here. Let me see how to bring her on. Hey, Joni.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Thank you for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And, as we were talking about the energy triangle today, I was just curious as to, I know that your, mastery is a process. So I know that you're working and moving through and continuously going up and down the ladder and taking the tools that you've learned. What do you think has been through working with me and through going through a more in-depth process than this, going through Fear to Freedom, how has that helped you shift your life?
Oh my gosh. Massively. My life has shifted tremendously. It's funny, as you're talking about the triangle, we were talking earlier about focus. What you focus on is what comes to you, and what you focus on is what you just keep putting over in your head. And so it's much better to focus on the positives, which I'm finding out. Well, I have learned that. But I think not doubting yourself and doing what you need to do. It's not an easy process. I mean, there's a lot of work. There really is. Um, but one big thing that I liked is when I was going through it, um, I didn't feel like I had to hold back. I felt like I could say anything. I felt very comfortable. Uh,
Mm.
I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel like, you were saying, you know what, no, don't think that and don't do that. And you have to do this and you have to do that. And um, it was like a gentle kind of nudging. I find that this works better. And maybe if you try this, or, I don't, it wasn't like things that I've tried before. Of course, I've been in counseling and all that kind of stuff. And they're always like, well, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this. Well, why? Why? And you come up with, well, if you try this, see how that works. And if that doesn't work, try this. If the focus doesn't work, shift your body. If that doesn't work, try talking a different way. Try not saying these words and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it's true. I think one of the things that's so important is that you have your answers. I don't have your answers, right? You have the answers that you need.
Right.
My job is just to guide you to where you need it to go, right? So that you can discover your own answers.
Yes.
Yeah. And what if
everybody does a different thing? Like some people are really good with their focus. Some people are really good with the communication. You have to pick what's good for you. It's not, this is what you need to do, and that's your only option.
No, I mean, there's lots of tools and ways to get to the end results, right? Like it'd be boring if we were just one track at a time, right? We got many pathways to get to a destination.
Right.
And with that being said, what I appreciate you sharing that you've been with other counselors and did other things. When you came to me, and only share what you feel comfortable sharing with, where do you feel you were then? We talked about emotions that we lived in today. Where do you feel you were then versus where you are today?
It was ugly. It was ugly. I lost my son in September, and I connected with
a year ago.
A year, yeah, not this past September, a year ago, September. And I connected with you in June. I saw something on Facebook and I replied. And I was a mess. I was a mess. Very, very depressed. And on medication. Very hard on myself. I don't know if many of you, hopefully not many of you have lost a child, but you blame yourself. I could have done this. I should have done this. I should have saw this. I should have did it, whatever. So I was a mess. I was a mess. And I have come a long, long way from that first conversation that we had. I don't remember all of it. I mean, but I remember I was bawling. I mean, because I was a mess. And I knew that I had to do something different to get myself out of it. Nobody was going to get me out of it. And I needed help. And I think that's really very hard for a lot of mothers. I say that because mothers are supposed to be the strong ones. They're supposed to be the one that holds the family together. And here I am falling apart. I'm supposed to be the strong one. And I said, you know what? I got to stop this. It can't be my fault. I can't control what everybody else does. I can, like you, show them a different way. And if they choose to take that, great. If they don't, I can't make them do that. So that was a big part of going with you, because from that first conversation, I felt very comfortable. I mean, I told you things that I'm sure I haven't told anyone. And I didn't feel like I can't tell her this because she'll think I'm a bad person, or I can't say this because she'll think this or that. Or from the get-go, I just felt very comfortable. And you can tell them I was a mess. I was a mess. But that was 6 months ago almost. I think I'm a heck of a lot better than I was then. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. And I know you are being with you. What do you feel has been the key to your success in changing your, I guess, emotional state?
Um, I don't know that there's one key. It's funny because looking at the triangle, I was looking at that earlier. Um, I have all my notes and everything from when I went through the class the first time, and I'm going through it again just for myself. And one big thing is communication. Um, as a lot of people in the group know, I am sarcastic. I try to be like in a funny way, but I wasn't always sarcastic in a funny way because underneath that sarcasm was anger, resentment, hurt, frustration.
Mhm.
And looking at the triangle and the communication part, particularly, what do you say to yourself? What do you say to other people? When I would get upset, I would say something sarcastically, like kind of like jokingly, but I was serious,
Mm.
you know. And one day I was outside and I was mowing the grass over the summer, and I'm just repeating to myself, if you don't tell them, they don't know. Like if I don't express what I'm thinking or feeling to somebody else, how do they know? They don't know. So that's a big part um, of my transformation, I think, because I have always been, well, you should know. You should know. I mean, you see it's hot outside. You should know that I need something to drink, you know. Or
Mm.
you see me struggling. You should know to get up and help me. But you know what? Not everybody's in the same place.
Nope. Not
So,
everybody's a mind reader.
yeah, the communication part was really, really big for me. Really big.
Very cool.
And you know, and going through, because I'm sure in the beginning when I went through your program, I'm sure that I had lots of sarcastic comments during our meetings. But you were always so kind and nurturing and non-judgmental because
Mm.
that's what I always thought I was judgmental and I'm like she's going to think this or she's going to think, but you never did. And
Mm.
I really do. I appreciate that. I really do. I
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Look at me now compared to then. So I mean, and that's all because of you. So yeah.
Well, I'll take some credit, but really it's because you made the decision to stop where you hurting and you decided to take back your life. I mean, it couldn't happen without your decision. So
Yeah.
um, there was one question on the tip of my tongue when you were talking, when to ask, but I lost it. Hold on. Um, if you could recommend us to one person, not a particular person, not like a friend or that, but somebody with certain qualities that they wanted to change, what type of person would that be?
Um, I really think anybody who doubts themselves, anybody who is unhappy with where they are, really, I think really everybody could benefit. There's so much in here that you cover. I think everyone could benefit from something from this program. Um, like I said, I was severely depressed. I was very critical of myself, very judgmental of other people, very negative. You know, I was the victim. You know, with
Mm.
teaching, you know, I can't get a job because I'm too old. Well, I don't think that anymore. I don't think that. That's what I used to think. Okay. So I think anybody who has any kind of issues that they're dealing with that they want to rectify, that they want to make better,
Mhm.
who wants to be happier. I think anybody. And I can relate especially to moms because I used to think that moms were like the backbone. I mean, they are, but I mean, the moms had to be the rigid one, the strong ones, the ones that don't break down. But you know what? I'm human too, just like everybody else. So
Mhm.
I have my flaws and all of that. And I think this program helped me realize that the way I talk to myself, the things that I believe, my limiting beliefs, all of those things. And until you really get into it and dig in and see what it is, you really don't know. Oh my gosh, I really didn't think that I was thinking that way. And no wonder I do this because I think this. Well, how
Yeah.
if I think this and then maybe I'll do this? And look, I think this and now here I am. I
Right.
feel much better, much happier because of the program.
Awesome. Awesome. And if there's one last thing you could share with anybody who seems to be struggling, what would it be?
The hardest part, I think, is to get out from within yourself. Step out. Take that first step. Nobody is going to judge you. Nobody is going to compare you to anybody else. Everybody's their own person. And if you're thinking about it, stop thinking and just do it. Okay? Because when you're in that mindset and you're second guessing yourself because you're not in a better mindset, you're not going to go with what you really know that you should do. Um, you're going to stay in that negativity. You're going to stay in that comfort zone because it's comfortable
Mm.
and you don't want to get out of that comfort. Okay. But taking that first step, that's all you got to do. And that's all I did. I took that first step. I messaged you on Facebook and here I am 6 months later. And I feel so much better. I really, really do. So
Awesome.
take
Awesome.
that first step.
Yeah, and I always say it takes courage to take action. It doesn't mean that you don't have fear, and it's not that you're scared, but having the courage to take action for yourself is so important. And you obviously did
Yes.
your journey, and then those that are listening, obviously you did as you made the commitment to be here in this challenge. So I invite you to continue. We have one more day, and I actually have some surprises. I'm going to do some bonus days because I want to give some more than the 5 days that we're actually going to take 2 extra bonus days, I believe, if with the program, so that you guys for sure get everything you need. So Joni, I appreciate you coming on. Those, go ahead and use the energy emotional frequency ladder today. Look at what you're focusing on, what your how your physiology is and your communication. Develop some healthy affirmations, some healthy mantras, which are just positive statements that stand out to you. I have one that I use all the time. I'm healthy and strong. I'm healthy and strong. I'm healthy and strong. So just write down some positive statements. And take those into action today as you move forward, and have a fabulous day. Thanks a lot.